Money is one of the first things that comes to mind when giving. How much can I give? However, I encourage you to think about it in a new way. Oftentimes, we make our financial gifts reactively. A giving opportunity arises and we make an immediate judgment call. Does this seem like something I can afford right now? Does this seem worth it? Am I just considering this gift because a friend or work colleague asked me to? And while there is value in being flexible when new opportunities arise, I personally have found over the years that I have been giving that philanthropy is infinitely more meaningful when I assess my resources upfront and I know what it is that I want to give, when I want to give it, and which specific nonprofits or social issue areas I want to channel my resources towards. One way to do this is to create an annual giving budget and determine how much of your financial resources you would like to give in, say, a particular month or a quarter or a year. I invite you to do so for several reasons. Number one, it bases your giving on an informed sense of what it is you can afford to give. Therefore, you are avoiding the risk of giving more than you can afford or giving less than you would choose to if you'd planned it out in advance. Two, it allows you to be strategic and plan out your giving ahead of time. This way, the bulk of your giving can go to causes you personally support and feel strongly about, as opposed to just ones that other people present to you. But if you set aside a certain amount of your money to give, and that giving is focused on what you are passionate about, it allows your giving to be a consistent source of fulfillment and impact, as opposed to merely a moment of immediate gratification. So it's all about making your giving as meaningful as possible over time. There are many different ways that you might choose to structure your giving budget. Two easy ways to create a giving budget are to choose a certain percentage of your annual income to devote to your giving, or to choose a fixed amount of money each year to give. You may say, I want to give X% of my annual income to charity. Let's say Peter, for example, he wants to give 4% of his annual income to charity. Now, how Peter chooses to spend that money philanthropically may vary significantly. Peter may decide to keep that money in a separate philanthropic bank account or a donor-advised fund at a community foundation or federation, and throughout the year, as he finds giving opportunities that are aligned with his personal goals, he would make gifts out of that account. This might result in many different gifts of lesser amounts. Alternatively, Peter might decide that he wants to make 2 gifts over the course of the entire year and spend a significant amount of time deciding where the 2 best investments might be. And he might choose to invest not only his money, but also his time, his networks, and other resources as well. But whether he chooses to give many small gifts or a few large gifts is entirely a matter of personal choice. You might also set up a friends fund, which is in essence a certain amount of financial resources that you are going to use specifically for one-off or emotionally based or friend incentivized giving. My beloved and I do this with our giving every year. Now, that specific fund, along with having a very refined area of focus for our giving as a whole, allows us to say no graciously and thoughtfully. And I hope that you try this out as well. In this case, you can simply explain that you have a friends fund and what your giving focus is and why it's important to you. But you can also say that perhaps next year you'll have another opportunity to give to their favorite nonprofit. Other considerations that you might include are the timing of your gift. Do you want to give monthly, quarterly, every year, only during the holiday season, or only on your birthday? Or how will you make giving decisions with your partner, your spouse, friends, children, co-workers, etc.? Often giving together is a powerful experience because not only are you sharing something that brings you happiness and you're sharing the experience of expressing your generosity together, but also what you can accomplish by pooling your resources with others can be so infinitely greater than what you could accomplish merely by giving alone. Additionally, you might consider setting aside a certain amount of your philanthropic budget for unexpected giving opportunities. For example, many of you giving to disaster relief efforts may be an important part of your giving values, and you want to be able to quickly respond when there are world crises in need of funding. Alternatively, a life event such as a marriage, a death, an illness, or any other type of experience may prompt you to want to take social action in new ways. And even though we may set out our own giving strategies, we might always want to give to such causes as a way to support the people that we care about. In both of these cases, though, it is valuable to set aside a certain amount of money that is intended for these purposes, allowing the rest of the money we choose to invest socially to be allocated towards proactive, strategic giving opportunities. In the case of Peter, he may set aside 5% or 10% of his giving budget for unforeseen opportunities that arise, and the rest, that 95% or 90%, to the rest of the nonprofits he proactively seeks out that are in the social issue area or areas about which he is most passionate. If this feels financially intimidating or even overwhelming, think about what small things you could give up on a weekly or monthly basis and redirect that amount of money into your giving fund. For example, you might decide to give up buying a fancy coffee for yourself 1 or 2 days a week, and you put that money into your giving fund. Or you might think of giving up going out to dinner 1 night a week and putting that into your giving fund. You will find that these seemingly smaller amounts of money can add up quickly. There are also opportunities to give non-cash assets like stocks, life insurance plans, real estate, or even Bitcoin. As a note for individuals giving in this way or planning on giving large sums of money, there are numerous giving vehicles to explore. For the sake of being specific and broadly applicable, in our course, we have focused on giving amounts aligned with our course grant-making strategy. Though I do encourage you to explore our advanced reading list on the side of our course homepage if you are considering making a more complex gift. All right, so now I want you to think about your own giving situation. Do you want to donate your financial resources? If so, here are some questions I invite you to consider. 1, how much in terms of an amount or a percentage do you want to give in the next year? 2, how do you want to structure your financial giving budget? 3, do you want to give several smaller gifts or a few larger gifts? 4, do you want to focus on your core issue area or branch off into additional areas you are even more passionate about? 5, do you want to set aside a portion of your financial giving budget for unexpected giving opportunities, friends and family to support, disaster giving, etc.? Now, when you think about these questions, they may seem rather simplistic, but I can tell you from my personal experience over the last about 19 years by the time this MOOC launches, over the last 19 years, the years that I've actually taken 30 to 60 minutes, or in some cases many hours or days, to answer those questions are the years where not only my giving is deeply meaningful to me personally or to me and my beloved, but even more importantly, it is infinitely more meaningful to the organizations that we support. And it is so because when we have that focus and we have that strategic approach, we tend to invest even greater resources and resources of an entire portfolio of giving opportunities.